a brief introduction to all of those technologies. When it comes to professional is about 60% of the theory part, plus 40% is your lab. Okay, where we demonstrate deep dive of theory and lab, both combination. We discuss the technology, theory, as well as the practical part of it. Here is 80% lab, 20% theory. Okay, the basic difference. So combination of CCNA, CCNP is become the CCI. That's where we technology, configuration, and the theoretical part, everything will be same what we have learned so far. Between CCNA and CCNP. In CC or expert level, we have 80% of the course has been designed around the lab part of it. Okay? This is applicable to any domain, whether it's going for security, whether it's going for the campus, whether it's going for the wireless, enterprise, or data center. All the courses, whether you go for the Cisco, non-Cisco, doesn't really matter. This is the plain designing for the engineering, where particular engineer can achieve these 3 certificate. If you are having a 10, 20, 10, 15 plus years of experience, there is another certification we call that CCD. Okay, and that CCD is multi-domain knowledge and design expert. This is the design expert. Suppose if you have a multiple domain knowledge, data center security, or service provider, or campus network, enterprise network, then you try to achieve the design expertise. It means Cisco will give you certification to achieve the design. So you will be applicable to assist any network in complex data center or service provider environment. However, this is not mandatory. Very few people are around in the world who did the CCD, but for till even this certification are still valid in the market currently. Okay, after CCNP class, you will be able to achieve the CCNP data center knowledge. You can even try to attempt the exam as well. Okay. Now, what is the data center? First basic question. What is the data center? Why do we need a data center? Because campus network, Wi-Fi network, everything is there. Why do we need a data center? So data center is a central point of any company. Okay. Central point of any organization. Okay. Meaning, if you are the big company, such as like Jio, Airtel, Tata, even for example, Indian government. Okay, Indian government, or you can say the Google. What is their responsibility? They are the service provider. They are the service provider. What is the role of service provider? To provide the services to the customer. Okay, that's a major differentiation of between service provider and you can say that managed services. Okay, because service provider, there are few companies in the market who provide the services. There are 90% of the company who provide the managed services, not the services. Okay, services means these company own the platform, this company own the software or applications where customer try to access these software or applications. For example, google.com, where this application google.com is deployed. For example, Indian government websites, right? Tata Communication, Airtel services, Jio services. Okay, these companies are the service provider. They provide the internet as well as the non-internet essential services, such as, for example, some of the Geo you have, right? Geo provide the telecommunication services alongside with a lot of other services, financial services, similar to Tata and Airtel. Indian government provide the lot of public sector services. Google provide a lot of other services in the market. Now, what is the common of these environment? They all host the two things: application and database, critical application and database, apps and database, which is the main spine of any service provider. If they have a sub application and database which provide the services which consumer consume, that company will have a lot of responsibility. That company will have a lot of responsibility to address the customer, provide the good services, maintain the security, maintain the application 24/7, 99.99% SLA across throughout the year. Now, in order to host these database and applications, since if you have suppose India has a 20 plus 25 plus states, right? And each state there are certain users who try to access the uh, services, right? For example, Google. So Google cannot provide you the data center services for each state, right? So rather, what they do here is they create a centralized location and they host their services and provide the services across the region, not just only India. For example, Bangladesh, Pakistan, or Nepal, and your Myanmar and your Maldives. These are the countries who consume the data center services which are deployed in data center in India or nearby India. Okay, so data center is essential part of any organizations. Without data center, you cannot run or build your organization because that is the basic requirement set by the government. If any companies want to provide the services, their data localization must be data center or database must be available in India region. Their application can be hosted in India or outside India, do not care. But their database services must be available in the India. So these are the critical applications. So any critical services which need to be hosted that we host in the data center. That's why data center are going to be relevant. Doesn't matter how AI, non-AI systems are introducing in the network. Okay. Surrounding this data center, we have security, we have service provider, we have wireless network, we have your campus network, everything surrounded by these data center technology. Whether it's come to the security, because security is for what? Security is to protect these applications, this database, right? Then you have a service provider for what? Service provider to access these services and applications for the users, from the users. Then you have wireless network. When you have in a campus network, then you have a DevOps, a lot of other services are there. But these all the other technologies are being surrounded for the data center technology. Okay, whether doesn't matter whether you have a cloud environment, whether you have a non-cloud environment, everything is deployed in a data center. Okay, so what is the data center scope in the market currently? So India has, so who having the largest data center in the in the in the entire world? USA is the one who holds up, I think, more than 4,000 plus data centers. Okay, then China, then Russia, then other countries are there who are having up 400, 300 plus data center. India currently having, I would say that there is a three types of data center. Okay, one is small, where you have very less applications. It's for small companies. Then you have a medium. Then you have a large, okay, data center. So for large data center in India, we have a Jio, Airtel, Indian government. There are a couple of other companies who are providing large data center services. For medium, there are many companies. For small, I mean, 70-80% of the companies are having a small and medium data center. Very few companies who hold the large data center uh, environment. If I go here and says that data center in India, there are map uh, where you can find facility reports. So if you see that here, these are the map for the India, and these are the locations where you have a data centers. Okay, you have the highest data center in Bangalore. Okay, then you have Chennai. In Chennai nowadays, people are deploying the services. See here, Chennai 34 data centers are available in Kolkata, Noida. That's the reason you see that Bangalore having the highest number of the IT engineers, because Bangalore is a mix of data center services and non-data center services hub. Even in data center, Mumbai, if you looking for data center pure job, always plan to shift either in Chennai or Mumbai or even in Gurgaon, Delhi. They are still building it, but yeah, in Hyderabad also, that's going to be the second, fourth highest number of the data center you're going to have over there. Okay. If I click on the 22 data center which we have in here, so these are the locations and these are the name of the data center which we have a Reliance, many Reliance data centers will be over here. Okay, even NTT data center, GDC data center. I mean, as I said, um, there are nowadays companies in India who are um, who are having a data center or planning to have a data center for the rental or something. And these many data centers we have across the globe. Okay. If I click here in data centers and look here, who is the highest holder of the data center? Countries 4088. In USA, we have highest number of the data center. Then we have a Canada because these countries having a cold environment without any too much electricity. That's the reason we deploy a lot of data center over there. Then we have Mexico. In India, having around 200 plus. Germany having a highest number of data center. United Kingdom having a 500 plus data center. So in India, the future is India need to touch more than 500 data center in next 5 year or 1 decade. So data center scope will be increasing, whether it come to the layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 jobs or design jobs for data center, because the number of data center which require for the developed India will be more than 500 minimum, because India population is the highest number of the in the world. So it has to be increased, otherwise services will be saturated and you will have a difficulties to use or consume any services in the environment. In China, how many data centers? If I look for the China, so see here around 300, 400, around touching the 400 data center in China. Okay, Hong Kong, I would consider as a China. So 369 plus 85, as I said, more than 400 plus data centers are available, all available over here. Okay, so do not worry about the data center services. If you go for the infrastructure as a like cloud data center, where they are most, so these are the cloud data centers which we have. Okay, these cloud data center are data center. Okay, in India we have around 26 data center for the cloud out of like these Amazon and the Google and the other provider who hold the data center in India. Okay, so in the other day, everything is a data center. If you do not have a data center, then you cannot survive nowadays because of the digitalization of the services. Okay, There are multiple data center provided in the network, not just the Cisco. So always keep in mind that when you're going to learn technology, we are not going to just focus on the Cisco. We're going to also discuss some other services as well. Because Cisco is one of the leader in the data center, but there are other companies. For example, we have a Cisco for data center services. We have HP. We have Arista. We have Juniper. We have, sorry, spelling wrong. Juniper. When you have uh, Dell. Okay, these are some of them. There are many available who provide data center services, but these are some of the major which you might encounter in the data center. Okay, mostly Arista, Cisco, and HP. They having a similar kind of concept. They because Arista and HP are and were only originated from the Cisco itself. So yeah, even Nokia provide the services. Nokia nowadays they have their own data center networking devices. Okay, so what we are going to learn here is we are going to learn around 70-80% of the technology around the Cisco. We're going to discuss 20% of the technology around the vendor agnostic. It means there is no vendor specification. You can run those services. If you know the Cisco, you can run those services to any of the providers. Okay. Any confusion, any doubt, anyone who want to ask anything? Just a FYI, I can speak Hindi, English. Okay, so if you comfortable, you can speak in Hindi also. Okay, this class is English. It means we are going to discuss Hindi, English both. Okay.
Hi,
What?
Vijay sir.
Hey, Guru.
Yeah. So, question in my mind is, we have cloud data centers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, means what will be the impact of cloud data centers on these on-prem data centers?
Nothing,
Nothing. Okay.
because if suppose you having the small company, right? What is
Hmm.
the small company purpose? They require to host the like 100 users, right? For
Hmm.
100
Hmm.
users, previously we used to build the data center,
Hmm.
which was not the Bible solution for the small company. So what they did here is they say that I'm going to rent the services, right? I'm going to
Hmm.
I'm going to have a rental data center, which is your cloud, right? Where
Hmm.
I'm going to deploy my 100 services.
Hmm.
That is only difference. So, and
Hmm.
also the way, everything is disrupted now in recent past year, like
Hmm.
in Abu Dhabi and the Saudi, they have dismantled Amazon and the Microsoft services, right? Because
Hmm.
these cloud environment are over dependent for any client, right? If one location having some issue or something has happened to the one company, entire infrastructure or entire other organization will be impacted. In
Hmm.
recent
Hmm.
parts, there was a DNS issue in the Microsoft as well as in AWS, and
Hmm.
1,000+ clients were impacted. Okay,
Okay.
so that is a drawback you have. You are giving entire country in hand of one or two players, right? That's
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
reason Indian government mandates that your database services must be localized. Your application you can deploy in your cloud or anywhere else, don't care. But database services, your storage must be in on-prem. Okay,
Okay.
or you
Okay.
should be owning that platform at least.
Okay.
That is why, as I said, even if you have a cloud data center, it's still your job will be there because you still build the data center for them, right? In the other day, technology NLA will be and is the same for everyone. Even if you go for the Google in Hyderabad, they are using Cisco technology, right? SD-WAN and SDN, Nexus, everything what we have.
Hmm.
So underlay, even they are using the same. Okay, they
Hmm.
may
Hmm.
have a different way of approaching the services,
Hmm.
configuring the services, but in the other day, underlay and hardware are the same.
Okay.
Okay.
And any impact of AI on this technology, ACI
Yes,
technology?
there is a AI impact because previously all these vendors which we have, they
Mm-hmm.
provide they provide the hardware which were compatible with the CPU based servers. AI is what? AI is going to need a hardware, right? So
Mm-hmm.
new hardware are compatible with the AI. It means AI is what? GPU based and trillion packet per second or billion packet per second process requirement. So these vendors are now complying with the hardware or introducing the hardware which are more of GPU driven. Plus, some of them do not need manual configuration. They can have plug and play services
Mm-hmm.
to speed up the deployment, to provide the better user experience, customer experience. As such, you should, if you know the technology, AI will not kill the data center. It will easy your job. Okay, in data center previously, before we used to have a thousands of engineer, right, to manage that. Now using the AI tools, that will be
Mm-hmm.
reduced to the 50 people, right? But that is to make your job easy. You do not need to do unnecessary jobs in a data center. You just focus on the productivity. You do not need to monitor each devices manually. There will be tools who will predict your services, right?
Okay.
So AI is giving the advantage to us, not just
Okay.
disadvantage. So think like that. You just need
Okay.
to learn the tools which are AI driven. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you do not need to be developer for the data center. Yeah, obviously there are automation tool. For example, you want to configure the 10 VLAN, layer 2 VLAN across the data center.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have 100 devices, previously we used to do the manual configuration, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have AI driven automation tool, you can create in 5 minutes, right? But you do not need to know the developer level language. You should know the basic automation. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So don't be scared of all these things. Software developers should be worried about the AI, not us. Okay.
Yes.
To
Yes.
be honest, that's how I see here, because software developers are losing the job, but data center still require a physical hands-on feed. Okay. Tools will
Okay.
be requiring. Yes, there is no MSO. I will be covering the NDO with the lab Nexus as
Okay.
well. Okay. So what modules we are going to cover in the CCNP data center? So you can open a Cisco portal. You can see that if I am missing anything, but mainly we have multiple modules. First module is networking. In the networking, I'm going to discuss the Nexus. Okay, just that's one of the product. We call that an XOS plus Nexus dashboard NDFC. Okay, then I'm going to discuss the SDN, which is the Cisco ACI plus NDO.
Sir, what is NDFC?
NDFC is Nexus Dashboard Fabric Controller, which is the equivalent to the NDO. NDO is for the ACI, and NDFC is for the Nexus environment.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
So I'm saying that NDO is for the ACI, right? And NDFC is a Nexus Dashboard Fabric Controller, previously known as a DCNM, which
Sir,
can control the
can you
Nexus.
please, sir, can you please speak a little slow, sir, so I
Yeah.
can
So
understand?
yeah. So NDFC, previously known as a DCNM. Okay. So this tool can manage the entire NXOS or Nexus-based data center. You can integrate this tool and you can operate from a single point of interface to operate entire data center, which are built with the Nexus and iOS XE. Got my point?
Okay, okay. And ACI?
ACI, we have separate module where we're gonna cover the ACI end-to-end plus NDO Nexus dashboard fabric controller, which include the multi-site environment. Also, we're gonna have NDI Nexus dashboard insight for the insight monitoring, for real-time monitoring. And when you need when you say that ACI, we're gonna have from a day zero, okay, day zero to advanced level ACI. We are not going to touch just basic ACI. We're gonna cover the end-to-end ACI from day zero to
Sir, I'm
advanced
sorry.
level.
I'm just having a hard time understanding you because you're speaking way too fast. So
Sorry
I
for
understand Hindi if we can
that. All right, so
conduct the class in Hindi.
no problem. Yeah. So ACI syllabus पे हम लोग ACI कवर करेंगे which will be the डे जीरो से लेके एडवांस लेवल तक, जिसमें से कवर करेंगे बेसिक व्हाट इज द ACI टू एक्चुअल
Uh, yeah,
कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ ACI.
yes, but I still need to understand what this ND, NDN, NDFC, NDO, NDI, all that stuff is. That's what I need to understand.
हाँ, सो सिस्को का एक प्रोडक्ट आया है, ओके, सिस्को प्रोडक्ट वी कॉल द नेक्सस डैशबोर्ड. ओके, नेक्सस डैशबोर्ड आया, उस पे ना 3 सर्विसेज सिस्को इंट्रोड्यूस 3-4 सर्विसेज. एक सिस्को ने बोला कि भाई एक NDFC, अगर कोई भी कस्टमर NXOS यूज कर रहा है, ट्रेडिशनल डेटा सेंटर यूज करना चाहता है, 3 tier आर्किटेक्चर और दे आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल विद द न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी, हम उनके लिए NDFC इंट्रोड्यूस कर देंगे. ठीक, जिसको आप अगर नेक्सस बेस्ड डेटा सेंटर भी आप है अगर ट्रेडिशनल वे पे 3 tier 2 tier आर्किटेक्चर का, आप NDFC के थ्रू ऑपरेट करो, सिंगल इंटरफेस दे दिया आपको, टूल है आप बोल सकते हो इसको, जो कि हाइब्रिड SDN सोल्यूशन की तरह एक्ट करता है. प्लस सिस्को ने बोला कि भाई नेक्सस डैशबोर्ड में एक और सोल्यूशन ऐड करूंगा, नेक्सस डैशबोर्ड ऑर्केस्ट्रेटर. इट मींस अगर ACI है आपके पास, ACI में एक सोल्यूशन होता है मल्टी साइट. अगर आपके पास मल्टीपल डेटा सेंटर है ACI के, तो उसको आप सिंगल इंटरफेस के थ्रू मैनेज कर सकते हो. उस टूल का नाम है NDO, नेक्सस डैशबोर्ड ऑर्केस्ट्रेटर. ओके, देन बोला सिस्को ने बोला कि अगर आपके पास डेटा सेंटर है इन नेक्सस का एंड ACI का एंड इवन फॉर द iOS डिवाइसेस, तो उन डिवाइसेस को AI ML बेस मॉनिटरिंग कैसे कर सकते हैं. ये आपका AI ML बेस मॉनिटरिंग है. अगर आप इन डेटा सेंटर को, क्योंकि मोस्टली डेटा सेंटर में रिएक्टिव ऑपरेटिंग टूल होते हैं, राइट, डे टू ऑपरेशन के लिए. अगर NDI की बात करें, NDI कैन सपोर्ट द रिएक्टिव एंड प्रोएक्टिव मॉनिटरिंग. इट मीन्स NDI can predict the data center configuration changes or any kind of impact which you're going to have. So उसके लिए NDI सिस्को ने इंट्रोड्यूस किया है. तो आपका नेक्सस डैशबोर्ड एक प्लेटफॉर्म है जिसके अंदर 3 सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करते हैं. NDFC for the Nexus control, you have NDI for the data center monitoring, we have NDO which can have ACI based configuration. Okay,
What is ACI?
ACI is a Cisco SDN solution, which is you can say the if you so previously we have a 3 tier architecture with the Nexus, right? Core layer, aggregation layer, and access
Sir,
layer.
I was actually expecting this training would be for beginners and would lay some foundation for beginners that don't have any knowledge of data center prior.
Yeah.
So, but this is already going at an advanced level, and that's why I'm having a hard time understanding all these concepts. So if we're going to be, if we're going to be talking like way too technical stuff here, ND, NDFC, and all this without getting into the detailed explanation for beginners, so it's like I need to get trained. So I should get a feeling that the teacher is teaching us, the beginners.
So Sakil, you only brought you want to understand NDO. I did not even touch that part. Okay, so let's focus on the basic one. I was trying to explain what module we are going to cover. Okay, so you are the one who jumping around and asking NDO and NDI part.
Yeah, of course. If I don't know what ND is,
Exactly, you do
I'm
not
not
need to
raising
know.
question.
You do not need to know that as of now. When it comes to the module, I will be covering from basic.
Okay.
All right. You do not need to do not need to know in day one. Wait for
Okay.
the right time. I will be explaining each module. I'm just trying to explain what I'm going to cover in CCNP.
Okay.
Right. So so module number 1, which we're gonna have, and that will be the from basic. Okay. I'm not going to jump directly from module 1 to 2 without explaining the module 1. So module 1 will take around a month to cover. Okay. Where you will have a Nexus technology and a lot of other stuff we are going to cover into it. Then module number 2 we're going to have, which is the ACI, which is a SDN data center, how to introduce the SDN, which is software defined networking in data center. Module number 3, which we're going to have here is, we call that compute networking. Compute networking means how you can deploy the servers in a data center, how to operate these servers in a data centers. Okay.
Are you providing multi-site lab?
Yes, I will be showing you multi-site lab. Yes.
Oh, you are doing MS or
NDO.
okay. Like, can you show me, because I have admitted, like, I have taken sessions for 2 to 3 institute, but they are not doing
What?
multi-sites. They told like
So
it is not possible.
yeah, so if you want to see that what we do in a multi-site, we show you there. You can provide the multi-site one of the class which
Okay,
we
can you
cover.
just show us that lab configurations, like that design and all?
Sorry.
Can you show us like how, like that lab actually?
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying that. So in from previous class, I cannot jump directly to the multi-site lab now because this is the day 1 class. Okay. So Vishal, if you have you must have a recording from my previous class. You can provide to the Rashmi. She can uh, if you like to, she can go through the multi-site what we cover.
You don't have right now, just to show like lab topology?
I need to book that lab for that.
Okay.
Okay, for multi-site. In module number 3, we are going to cover the compute nodes, where we're going to discuss the Cisco UCS servers. Like we have other servers where we host the database and applications, right? Of what are the platform we use it, because module number 1, module number 2 going to provide the networking services. It means if one service want to talk to another service, it will go via the network. So module number 1, module number 2, we have a 2 types of flavor. जहां हम लोग we are going to discuss the Nexus कैसे काम करता है and ACI कैसे काम करता है, right? For the data center networking. Now module number 3 में हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे सर्वर्स जो होते हैं जहाँ पास applications एंड डेटाबेस स्टोर होता है, हाउ दिस सर्वर्स वर्क्स, बिकॉज मार्केट में आपके पास HP वेंडर है, आपके पास डेल वेंडर है, आपके पास अदर मल्टीपल वेंडर है जो कि सिस्को नॉन सिस्को सर्वर्स प्रोवाइड करता है फॉर एप्लीकेशंस एंड डेटाबेस. सिमिलरली सिस्को का भी एक सोल्यूशन है जिसको बोलते हैं कंप्यूट सोल्यूशन, सिस्को यूसीएस सोल्यूशन, जिस बोल सकते हैं आप सर्वर सोल्यूशन होता है. मॉड्यूल नंबर 4 जो होगा वो होगा सैन एनवायरनमेंट, जिसको बोल सकते हैं आप स्टोरेज एरिया नेटवर्क. सो हमारे पास 2 तरीके के इन्वायरमेंट होते हैं, लैन एंड सैन. लैन इन्वायरमेंट में क्या होता है, आपका ईथरनेट काम करता है, ईथरनेट बेस और आईपी बेस नेटवर्किंग. ओके. जो सैन होता है उस पे काम करता है आपका स्टोरेज नेटवर्क, नॉन आईपी बेस एंड आईपी बेस नेटवर्किंग बोथ. सपोज आपके पास डेटा बेस है, सो कुछ डेटाबेस ऐसे होते हैं एनवायरनमेंट में जहां पास आपको आईपी एंड नॉन आईपी दोनों बेस पे आपको सोल्यूशन चाहिए होता है, आईपी प्लस नॉन आईपी बेस नेटवर्किंग। इस नेटवर्क इसको अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए हमारे पास क्या होता है, सैन एरिया नेटवर्क, स्टोरेज एरिया नेटवर्क होता है। सिमिलर टू द लैन होता है बट उसकी हार्डवेयर सेपरेट होते हैं, आपके पास कॉन्फ़िगरेशन सेपरेट होती है, प्रोटोकॉल सेपरेट होते हैं नेटवर्क में। प्रायर टू 5 ईयर बैक हम लोग सैन हार्डवेयर ज़्यादा यूज़ करते थे, बट नाउ डेज क्या हो गया ना, नॉन आईपी बेस्ड जो स्टोरेज का सोल्यूशन है वो ज़्यादा फेमस हो गया है नाउ डेज। दैट्स द रीज़न वी गो फॉर द आईपी बेस्ड सैन एरिया नेटवर्क, ठीक, जिसको हम आईपी बेस पे कॉन्फ़िगरेशन कर सकते हैं। Now, if I go to the module number 5th, okay, मॉड्यूल 5th, जिसमें से हम लोग कवर करेंगे ऑटोमेशन। ऑटोमेशन किसके लिए, लैन एंड जितने मॉड्यूल 1 2 3 4 5 हैं उनको ऑटोमेट कैसे कर सकते हैं यूजिंग द टूल, ओके। प्लस आई एम गोइंग टू कवर द लैब आल्सो, ओके। जो भी हम लोग कवर करेंगे मॉड्यूल नंबर 1 to 5, एवरीथिंग विल बी थ्योरी एंड लैब पार्ट बोथ। देन मॉड्यूल नंबर 6 जो होगा,
So you said module number 5 is automation.
Automation, yeah.
Only automation. Okay.
Only automation we are going to have. We have a dedicated module जहाँ हम लोग ऑटोमेशन सीखेंगे मॉड्यूल नंबर 1 के लिए, मॉड्यूल नंबर 2 के लिए, मॉड्यूल नंबर 3 के लिए, मॉड्यूल नंबर 4 के लिए, okay.
Yes, sir.
Then we have module 6 for the AI based fabric. It means एक सिस्को ने नया अभी सिलेबस में ऐड नहीं किया है, सिस्को ने उसको बोलते हैं हाइपर फैब्रिक। सिस्को ने एक नया सोल्यूशन ऐड किया है जिसको बोलते हैं एआई बेस्ड डेटा सेंटर, जहाँ पास आपकी जो हार्डवेयर हैं तो आपके जीपीयू बेस्ड हैं। सो फार मॉड्यूल नंबर 1 to 4 हार्डवेयर्स और द सीपीयू बेस्ड, ओके। अब जो सिस्को ने एक पार्टनरशिप किया है विद द एनवीडिया एंड इंट्रोड्यूस द न्यू हार्डवेयर, एंड फॉर दैट हम लोग कॉन्फ़िगर करेंगे फैब्रिक एज ए सोल्यूशन, उसको बोलते हैं हाइपर फैब्रिक, उसको बोलते हैं फैब्रिक एज ए सोल्यूशन, फैस। जैसे हमारे
So,
पास
could
सर्विस
you
एज ए
please
सोल्यूशन।
step it write it down? What exact things you will cover in ACI? Because my main focus is here in ACI actually. Like what things you will cover in ACI? Because in CCNP there is nothing in data center. So whatever things you will cover.
In data center, nothing. What do you mean by data center has nothing in data
I
center?
mean, I'm asking in ACI what are the things that you will cover? Like
Can you
what are the
guys stop jumping around? Okay, you might feel bad, but I would say that stop jumping around. I will be covering. Okay, don't be monkey. If you come to the class, just have a patience. I'm going to cover each and every part of it. Okay, I know I know you want to have a ACI. Okay,
yes, yes.
so do I want to teach it. Okay, wait for a second. I will be covering. I will be showing all of the things what I'm going to cover.
Yeah, okay, I'm waiting.
All right. So let me open the each one of the things which we are going to cover in module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4. Okay. If you go to the Cisco official, if I go for the Cisco CCNP Data Center. Okay, let me first share that what module in module number 2, what I'm going to cover. Just give me a second, please. Let me open that part. Here we have assessment. Where is the just give me a second, I'm just looking for the modules. Just give me a second. I'm just checking the very syllabus. I kept it. All right. So for module number 1, let me share my screen. As per the official page of the Cisco, we have a 4 module. Okay, networking, compute, storage, automation. I have added one more module, as I said, which is the SAN, which they have added into the compute also, but I'm going to have a separate module. I have added this module as a separate new module because currently we had a 3 data center version, okay? DC version 1, where we had just simple networking. Then they came with the DC number 2, version 2, where they have introduced some advanced label protocol. DC version 3, which that's where they have introduced the SDN, software defined networking. Okay, so currently data center is running data center version 3. In future, Cisco is trying to introduce data center 4 module. That's why they are going to introduce the AI based data center hardwares. Okay, so that's where I'm just adding the extra for that version 4 syllabus also. Okay, they are about to announce the data center version 4. So don't get confused into it. Okay. Now, if I go to the syllabus of the module number 1, okay, so this is what I'm going to cover in module number 1. I'm going to cover the layer 2. I'm going to cover the routing, and these are the topics I'm going to cover. Okay, like in layer 2, what we are going to cover? We are going to cover the port channeling, VDC, VPC, trunking, spanning tree, advanced spanning tree, then FHRP, which include the HSRP and VRRP. And I'm going to have a BGP also alongside with the OSPF and ISIS. I'm going to have a multicast where I'm going to discuss the sparse mode and bidirectional static RP and everything. Okay, going to have infrastructure also. Then module number 2, which is the ACI and non-ACI both, I'm going to cover the VXLAN. In the VXLAN, I'm going to cover the VXLAN with the module number 1 as well as the module number 2, where I'm going to explain the EVPN, spanning tree design, EVPN configuration, layer 2 VXLAN, layer 3 VXLAN, multi-homing, all the things I'm going to cover. Okay. When it comes to the ACI, so in ACI, I have this as a like divided into the 14th module. Module number 1, I'm going to start with the introduction. Okay. Module number 2, we are going to discuss the hardware. Module number 3, within the module number 2. Okay, in ACI. Because in data center, the main thing for us to understand is the module number 2. So based on the module number 2, you can have sustain long time in the data center technology. Okay, this is the future. Present. This is the old technology which was introduced in version 1 and version 2 of data center. ACI is the module which has been introduced in version 3, and it will be remain for the 4th and 5th generation of the data center. Okay, and so that's the reason we are going to spend some time on here where if you have a traditional data center or existing data center environment, you can and you should have ability to operate those data center from basic to advanced. Okay. So if you do not know what is the data center, just don't worry about it. I'm just explaining the module. Okay. I'm going to start from basic. So don't nervous on that part. Then I'm going to cover the module number 2, and the module number 2, which is the highest demand in data center. If you go simply just Google here Cisco data center job, irrespective of regions, whether you are from India or doesn't matter where you are from. Okay, you will able to find the data center job, and the very first thing they have written is the Cisco ACI knowledge. So here data center expert here, and the role and responsibility, what they look for: the VXLAN design, BGP design, and they prefer to have CCA, but it's not mandatory. And this solution, that's the reason I said I'm going to have two types of solution. Okay, this one is for the VXLAN. That's the reason I've given separate dedicated module in module number 1. I'm going to cover the VXLAN end-to-end. VXLAN, what we are going to discuss is a vendor agnostic. It means I'm going to discuss that you should be able to operate using the Cisco and non-Cisco devices. Okay. And if I look for the, just give me a second, data center. Okay. Not this one. So wherever you go, you will have to understand the ACI alongside with the VXLAN. If you know the VXLAN, you should be able to operate the modern data center as well. Okay. There is no much left. Just give me a second. If I search here, Cisco, not Cisco, data center network engineer skills. You can, whatever job portal you are using, just simply open that and search that job skill for data center. Okay, it will list down all the solutions. You should be knowing that how DC management works, network configuration, server virtualization, storage, little bit of the storage you should be knowing. I would not expect that you should be knowing the storage because we have a separate team of storage in the network. Okay, so if you should be knowing the basic of the storage, which we are going to cover in a SAN module. That's the reason even in Cisco, we do not have a SAN module. I'm just still adding the SAN. That's why I'm going to cover the iSCSI and the basic JBoard configuration. So if, because everything is
cover server virtualization also or no?
I am going to cover the computes. I am going to cover the virtualization using the EXXI, the VMware part. Okay. Like how we can install the EXXI, boot from EXXI, boot from locally, boot from remote. Okay. I'm going to cover the security protocol for like AAA integration, COPP, all these things, troubleshooting part. All right. So I mean, these part will be there, but for the specific to the ACI, which is the highest demanding job in the data center, I'm going to cover the overview, hardware, policy model, epic details. I'm going to cover the fabric forwarding, access policy configuration, OpenStack configuration, hypervisor integration using the VMware and Nutanix. I'm not going to cover the Hyper-V because that's no longer valid for virtualization, because nowadays people are moving towards the VMware and Nutanix, which I'm going to cover theory and lab both. Programmability, which is automation, I'm going to cover. We are going to cover the layer 4 and 7, where I'm going to introduce like how we can integrate firewall and the load balancer in the data center hardware. And we are going to cover if you have existing data center and you are trying to transit into the new data center leaf and spine model, or trying to migrate from old to new hardware, how we can design those hardwares and or the topology, considering that you have a existing data center running in the environment. I'm also going to cover the integration. Also, I am going to cover the multi-port multi-port. I'm going to cover the multi-site. Okay, multi-site. These are the few will be covered in a data center ACI. Do you have any questions further on that?
Are you
Sorry?
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, are you going to cover L3 out multi-tenant and multi-VRF? Because I'm working on that.
Yes, that's a basic one. Yeah. Whenever I say that a policy model, okay, I'm going to have a multi-tenant multi-model. I'm just give me a second, okay. I do have a low label which I usually share with the students, so I'm just looking for where I kept it. So ACI will be into it, okay. Don't worry about the ACI. Any topic you pick it, everything will be covered in ACI. I do not leave any topic from the ACI, because that is the main focus for the infrastructure nowadays. Because in Nexus we might do not need to learn few technology in module number 1, but in module number 2 we do need to learn a lot of things. Okay. All right. So this is the syllabus. Okay. Let me share. This is usually I take for the boot camp. All right. So these are the low level topic which we cover. Okay. Like overview, what we are going to cover here. We are going to cover. Okay. VRF, L3 out, everything will be there in part of the connectivity policy configuration. Right. With the lab, with the other things, integration, as I said, L3 out, multi-site. See here, everything is included in the existing infrastructure. So yeah, it will be without L3 out and tenant and all these things, ACI cannot be configured. So yes, that everything will be part of it, including the troubleshooting. So we are going to have two types of troubleshooting for all the solution, for Nexus and non-Nexus, using the manual way of and plus NDI, because in future, even nowadays, this solution is a bit expensive. We are going to use the data center tool NDI to perform the real-time monitoring, because people are slowly moving towards that solution, right? And what lab we are going to cover, so this all will be part of it. Okay. Now, any questions you have, anything? Okay, I'm taking it as a no. So I would be suggesting you guys, if you have any doubt or anything, if I'm missing something, please always, feel free to correct me on that. Also, if any topic you like to, see or you want to study, feel free to add it. Okay, don't be shy on that. Just learning this particular topic. This particular topic is missing. The reason I will be not covering some of the topic, for example, let me share the example. Because those technologies are no longer, applicable or valid for us. Like for example, spanning tree, some of the part is still valid, right? But spanning tree is no longer in use in future data center. So I might cover the less information about the spanning the wheels, because that is the future and that is the present, right? So rather than wasting about 3-4 hours extra time on the spanning tree protocol, which are no longer going to be, applicable for us in future, I will be wasting my time on the VXLAN. Okay, that's where we have all the modern networking solution, whether it's because this solution is compatible with the GPU based hardwares. Okay, whether you are running the native GPU based solution or CPU based solution, everywhere is VXLAN. So we are going to touch those topics more than the spanning tree. For example, BDC, because these hardwares are end of life, field of sale. And the modern hardware which we are going to get, they are not going to have a BDC, virtual device context feature. So I will introduce that feature. I will explain that how this works in a traditional data center, but I'm not going to cover too much because this protocols are no longer valid for the future data center, I mean current data center hardware. Okay. So I hope
What is GPU based?
GPU based means, let me explain that. So there are two types of hardware. Okay. Cisco Data Center hardware, CPU and GPU. So when you have a NIC card, okay, in the hardware, that NIC card will be two types of NIC card. When you purchase the computer, usually you have a CPU, right? And you have a GPU. CPU is can give you the less performance for your servers, your computers. If you want to have a highest performance in the network or from your computer, you need to have a GPU-based modules installed. Okay, so this is a processor. I would say that GPU is a processor which works before GPU. We had all these hardwares, data center hardware, which were requiring the. So what is the major difference? Okay, let's understand here. We have a CPU based hardware, we have a GPU based hardware. CPU and GPU. So what the traditional data center expectations? Traditional, by first spelling. Traditional DC. In traditional DC, we used to run the monolithic applications, which were only required to have a multi-million packet per second throughput. Okay, and they were slow. They did not have any ultra low latency requirement, right? No ultra low latency requirements. Okay, plus these devices were capable enough to handle the multi-million packet per second. Okay, and these traditional 3-tier architecture based design, these application can support it. Now, what is the modern data center requirement? What are the data center requirement? Data center requirement is your AI and LLM based applications, because monolithic application were Java based applications, your HTML based application, something like that, right? Like website. In website, you do not need to have too much throughput on that. But when you have LLM and AI based applications, what do you mean by the LLM and AI? So AI is your chat GPT. Okay, chat GPT. Then you have underlay storage. We used to call that application and database, right? This is the two components is must for any application app. Suppose you have a google.com, then you have a database. That's where your all the user data and services are saved over here. Then user try to access this application, right? Now, when you have a services like chat GPT, what is a chat GPT work? It provides you the predictive answer for the users, right? When you try to request, like write me a 100-line poem. The moment you will say that, write me 100-line poem, immediately within a fraction of ultras or milliseconds, you get the reply. Usually in traditional data center, when you have any application, we had quite delay also, right? When you open any website, you use the buffer, it takes your own time and provide you the answer, right? There was no ultra low latency requirement, and there was no as such technology which was available. Now the requirement is everyone having less patience, and I want to have a poem in less than a few seconds. The moment you ask this question to this application run the billion packet per second query. With whom? With the large language model, with your database. And for this one, everything you ask this application, and this application reply within a fraction of 2 to 5 seconds. It means what is the modern data center requirement? You need to have ultra low latency. You need to have a data center which is capable enough to handle the billion packet per second. Now, if your hardware, if your server is having a GPU based processor, and your next device, which is network devices, which are connecting these hardwares, having a CPU, right? Will that be fine for you? No. Because if you're requesting billion packet per second with the ultra low latency, then your underlay hardware with your data center hardware where your servers are connected must be also supporting the GPU based processor. Okay, they should be having ultra low latency, plus they should have a billion packet per second throughput support also between the interfaces, because ChatGPT LLM will be deployed in both data center, both the solutions in a data center itself in different interfaces. So that's the reason nowadays people are more focused into the GPU based solution because of the servers which are sold to the customer, as well as the everyone is jumping around AI ML, right? Each and every customer want to have AI ML. But if you go for chat GPT and LLM and deploy traditional CPU based data center, your performance will be choked. Okay, you will not be able to provide the good services. That is the bottom line for the GPU and CPU base in the networking. Okay, if I go here and say that GPU based Nexus 9000. So Cisco has, as I say, Cisco has a partner with the NVIDIA, and nowadays it's designing the new hardware. Cisco even partner for this compute node also. See here, GPU based node, you have a leaf and a spine. That's where your connectivities are forming. Now, if I go more deep into it, these are the like GPU based hardware servers. And when you have a leaf switches, it must be non-blocking, right? If you have a CPU base, you will not be able to sustain your, you know, the hardware which are required the high performance from the network. Okay, so Cisco has is grabbing into it, but it's still there are a lot of to do from the network side, because from Cisco competition, NVIDIA has also introduced its own data center switches. They have their own. If I click here, NVIDIA hardware. So one thing you will notice here in NVIDIA hardware, they have GPU-based switches, but if you want to have NVIDIA, if you want to know that NVIDIA, you should be knowing the Sonic OS. This is the open standard. Also, if I open product, not this one, NVIDIA switches. Spectrum, we call that, those switches. Okay, and D-Link also we call that. You can, yeah, these are the switches. See here, Spectrum switches. And they are, the advantage of NVIDIA is they do not have any NVIDIA native OS. They did introduce NOS, which is a Linux base. They also support the Sonic OS. It means hardware is from one vendor and OS is from open source. You can run it, and they all have like better performance compared to the Cisco hardwares. But still, they run the VXLAN solution. So that's why I'm saying that we are going to focus on the solutions and configuration which are more important to us. Even in future, suppose you want to learn about the NVIDIA, you should know how data center and VXLAN works, because you do not need to prepare for the protocol. You just need to prepare for the switches, right? Hardware understanding. And that's what I was saying, that we are going to cover some of the technology which are vendor agnostic, which will be helpful for you. Not just try to focus on the Cisco. You also need to focus on the solutions which are or protocols which you can run on any vendor. Doesn't matter irrespective of the hardware. You should be able to perform better. Also, you see that these switches have minimum hardware support is 400, port support is 400 to 800 gig interface. So also Cisco is introducing the similar kind of solution because currently in current environment, we have 1 gig to around 25 gig to 100 gig interfaces, right? Now, since you have billion packet per second requirement with the ultra low latency, you need to have minimum 400 gig to 800 gig switches. When I say that, this is the per interface. If switch has a right hardware has a 10 interface, so each interface will have 400 gig support or 800 gig support. Okay, to accommodate these hardware types to have a better performance in the network. That's the reason. If you see the module number 6, which I am going to cover, is going to be based on that. First, these is still 90% of the data centers are in the CPU base. So we are going to cover the CPU base first, deep dive. Then I'm going to also cover the AI based hardware because Cisco has introduced separate devices altogether in a competition to the NVIDIA, which we need to learn. This is still niche technology, but yeah, learning this technology will be always help you for the future. Any questions? Anyone?
So is Cisco using its own GPU based, or
Yes,
it's using NVIDIA's for right now?
it uses the NVIDIA right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because they are, if you see that here, they have written NVIDIA. Truth is, I don't know, but yeah, they have written the NVIDIA based GPU for the even for the network devices, compute nodes, everything.
Yes.
Right. All right. So, any other questions you like to discuss before I conclude for the day? So don't worry about I'm not going to touch anything advanced in first class. Okay. We are going to learn data center from day 0. As I repeat multiple times, don't worry about that. Okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Mhm.
Actually, my background is not from data center, and just मतलब मैं प्री रिक्वायरमेंट इसकी जानना चाह रहा हूँ कि मुझे मुझे और क्या चीज़ रेडी करके रखनी पड़ेगी तो मुझे बेटर तरीके से अंडरस्टैंडिंग होगी
If you know the basic network, okay, like what is the layer 2? Layer 2 कैसे काम करता है? Spanning tree कैसे काम करता है? That is more than enough for me to teach you the data center. Okay. But if you do not know the basic networking, it will be hard initially to understand data center directly, to be honest, because this is CCNP. I can teach you the basic of the data center. Okay. I cannot teach you the basic of the networking. Okay. आपको नेटवर्किंग थोड़ी बहुत तो आनी चाहिए. लाइक आईपी एड्रेसिंग क्या होती है, मैक एड्रेस क्या होता है, तो आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट दोस थिंग्स आपको आना चाहिए. आई कैन टीच यू डेटा सेंटर में फ्रॉम बेसिक डेटा सेंटर होता क्या है तो क्या हम लोग स्टडी करेंगे इधर, है ना. बट बेसिक आपको आईपी एड्रेसिंग, नेटवर्क क्या होता है, लेयर 2 कैसे काम करता है, ये आपको आना चाहिए.
हाँ है, उतना आइडिया है, मतलब
है ना.
we are working on ISP network, so we had idea about it.
That is more than enough. Don't worry about the rest. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other question? Resmi, yes. For multi-site, this is the topology I'm going to use it. Okay.
And what about access provisioning? Which lab we will do?
I'm going to use a Cisco lab, and we have a separate lab here for ACI. I need to.
Which one?
I have our own institute virtual lab. We do not have physical lab because physical lab are not possible in the current scenario. We have virtual lab 24/7.
Do you have any?
Sorry.
Do you have any diagram?
Yes, we do for the each topology base. Okay, based on the topics, you will be getting that topology. Like these are the one of the topic. Okay, we're gonna share you the how topologies are working. Like for example, here leaf and spine and low level details of it. Okay. So for each topic, I will be sharing one like this kind of slides, okay, where you're gonna have all the low-level details, whatever
And
we are going to discuss.
practical things, like actually we required it, like how to host applications in productions. That time working now, so I required it. So how will you do that? And like removing faulty leaf and adding new one, how the process and how to, like how
Discovery level, yes, from day zero, I'm going to cover it.
and like in CLI, what all things you will do?
From CLI, what do you want to learn in ACI from CLI?
Like for pre-post checks, so we need to do CLI commands, right? That in our
No,
company they are
it
using.
not. Might be using. You can use automation and other tools for the pre and post check. Why you want to stick with the? I'm teaching you the advanced level. Okay, don't. I can show the some of the commands. I can give you commands which I have listed down. Okay, for the CLI and MO query also. If you want to, I do run the MO queries like this one. Okay, I prepared for
Actually,
that.
in our environment, we are using single port. That's why we need CLI command.
That's fine. Doesn't matter. You can have the. As I said, you just don't need to worry about the CLI. Okay, CLI is outdated. Try to. I will be covering the CLI along with the MO queries. Okay, I will be giving a set of MO query for any kind of checks you want to do. You can do it. You can do it checks with the automation. Obviously, I will be sharing the CLI as I said. But I will be also covering the other thing also. Okay.
Actually,
So, sir,
generally we
our,
are checking in one APC how many VLANs are there, like we are using.
Yes, I will be covering that. No worry about that. That's the basic, okay? In day one also you will be getting that information, so don't worry about it. Okay, any other questions?
Like in how many days you will enter APC? Like in day one or?
No. Day one you need to understand solution, then hardware as per the module. Okay. We'll
Okay.
cover the first overview, then we'll cover the hardware, what hardware we're gonna use for the solution. Then module number 3 or day 3, you can see that I'm going to be covering the policy models, where I'm going to discuss how to do the basic configurations, including the EPs and all. Okay. Any other questions? If not, thank you very much. I will be ending here class. Okay. If you have any lab query or something like that, you can always reach out to the admin. They can clear all the queries. If you have any technical questions, you can throw out now. All right, then, guys. Thank you very much. Let's see you, Sean. Vishal, over to you. I will be dropping now. Okay. Thank you.